Alright, welcome everyone. This is Trench Talks. It's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while now, where I basically just review how my trades went in the week and generally just talk about trading in general. You know, there's so many issues that people go through. I'm personally one of the people that goes through the issues. So I took some notes to talk about main points I want to go over. This is just like an end of week review. I'm aiming to get other people on and have it as a bit of like a two-way podcast thing. I've got my friend Dan. He's definitely going to be on for the most part. It's going to be on Fridays. I'm going to review my week. This one's going to be a bit longer because there's an introduction as to who I am, what my trading story is. So I got some notes written down. Then after that, I'll just go into how my week's gone. I lost every day this week, but It's been a good week. Anyway, who am I? William Green, Tick Wizard Trades. I am a 25-year-old English dude that wants more than what I've got, or more than what I've always had. I don't care for having like a Lambo or a boat. I want a nice house, and I want the time and the freedom to do what I want, and I want a family where they don't have to stress about money, and I want a dog. I want a Staffordshire Terrier that I can walk 3 times a day. You know, I just want peace. I want peace. That's about it, really. I mean, I'm a college dropout. I was class of COVID. Psychology is what I studied, and I did not want to do that. I started to realize towards the end, like, damn, this ain't going to get me anywhere. Me personally, you know. So I dropped out of that, got into finance. Yeah. Don't know how deep I want to go with this, you know. When I was 19, I was at uni, I was at college, and I met a partner. I ended up being with her for like 5 years almost, and I tell you, man, like that whole time I couldn't be who I wanted to be. I couldn't figure out who I wanted to be. I couldn't really do my degree. I couldn't have real friends. It wasn't a good time for me. But in that time, around about 2021, due to significant financial abuse, I really started to look into Bitcoin. I remember specifically the day that I bought, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but it's the 8th of February was when Tesla bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. I put 50 quid in before that news came out, and then I went back to bed or something with my partner. I wake up, I check my phone, and so, I made a fiver. I was like, I was hooked. And I checked the news, and it was like, Tesla buys 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And I was like, this is it. I know what I'm doing. Long story short, I ended up putting basically all my money into it. Held through the summer of 2021. Then it started to go back up, and then I got into altcoins, and then I made 2.5 grand. And it was like, I was like, oh my God, I know what I'm doing. And I didn't sell. In fact, I did sell. I sold at break even. I just got back in January 2022, and I witnessed like the entire crash. I actually locked my funds in a like interest earning account with crypto.com. So I had a Matic token. I locked it up, and in the time that I was earning 11% interest, but the actual asset I was holding went down 90%. Then I started saving. I had my savings in US Terra stablecoin. Lost all of that. Didn't think to sell early and short Luna because that would have actually just solved all my issues. Then I started getting into leverage trading Bitcoin and ETH on Bybit. And that was to make back the losses that I had incurred. At this point, I'd lost about 4 or 5 grand. I was still in that relationship at this point. In fact, I had to kind of like keep it relatively secret that I was trading crypto. I mean, at the end of the day, in all honesty, like, I was reckless. I was losing money. Like, I don't even consider that like controlling. Like, I actually should have been under wraps a bit. I actually should have been like, kept controlled a little bit. But so I started leverage trading crypto. What I was trading was like straight up just like head and shoulders patterns, like trend lines, news releases, all sorts of stupid stuff. I thought the actual data of the news, like FOMC and stuff, actually mattered. It doesn't. I ended up blowing that entire account on Bybit. It was like another 1,000 gone, and I was like, damn. I can't even count the losses anymore. It really got to me, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my future. Like, trading was still like a side thing. It was like a little hobby, but I wanted to get into some sort of entrepreneur type work that I could then, use that money to reinvest into assets that will grow for the future. I thought I had to get into some kind of job. And then I started to learn ICT. I started to watch the 2022 mentorship, and when I first watched that, I had no idea what the dude was talking about, but what I knew is the way he spoke about it and the things he was talking about. Like, I was like, well, this is obviously the truth. Like, I watched it and I was like, this guy knows what he's doing, and like, he knows better than anyone else. I knew that, but I just couldn't understand it. He'd talk about an order block and I'd be like, he'd be like, oh, see, what is this order block doing? This is what I bought here and sold here. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? What's an order block? What the hell? You just showing me candlesticks. I tried to watch 22 Mentorship. Yeah, and that was because I wanted to learn how to trade so that I could make the losses back. I only wanted to make back my losses. I beg you, go back to break even. I don't even want the profits anymore. But I watched him and I was like, nah, this is going to be my life. This is my career. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I was like, okay, cool. It was difficult. Like, I just didn't understand it, and so I tried to implement it into my crypto trading, and I was just taking like random fair value gaps, like at random times of day. It didn't quite make sense. I've got like old back tests where I back tested on Binance for like Bitcoin. I was back testing like the 22 model. But yeah, so it took me a while to like properly start using TradingView and do all of this professionally, and it was about 9 months from first watching 2022 to then buying a Top Step eval. You know, at this point I bought an eval, I had watched the Market Maker Primer course, and I had watched like the first 5 episodes of 2022 Mentorship. I thought I had it. I was like, alright, yeah, I can do the silver bullet. All I've got to do is wait for 10 AM and then buy or sell whatever fair value gap I see at 10:03 or something. I didn't even know what a macro was. I didn't know anything, and I kept failing. But I ended up getting lucky. After a few blown evals, I ended up getting lucky enough to pass my first ever eval, get funded on the 13th of February 2024. That account lasted about a week and it was blown. And that's a canon event for all traders. Then I went back into the combines. Basically, on and off for all of 2024, I was just passing combines and blowing them. Go to January 2025, which wasn't too long ago. I had a combine, I passed it, and then I got a payout, $1,000. And then I just had $200 wins 5 days in a row and got another $1,000 payout. Then I passed another account and I did the same thing, but on 2 accounts, and I got a $2,000 payout. And in January in total, I had 4 payouts, all accumulating up to $5,000. And I mean, I was on holiday in Florida at the time with my grandparents. We were staying in a really nice place. They were splashing. There was a lot of money spent. My grandfather is relatively successful. I wasn't really born into any success myself, but his lifestyle is like a vast contrast to whatever I'm used to. I was making all of this money and it was being paid into my Wise account in dollars, and I could spend it in the States, and like, I honestly thought I'd cracked the code. And the moment I went back home, I literally was at work. Obviously, I was thinking, damn, I shouldn't even need to be at this job. Like, I kept thinking, I don't need this job. I don't need this job. And so I was at work and I went to the toilet and I tried to take a 1 micro short during London on the toilet. That 1 micro short was a $48 loss. And that led to me trying to make it back with 2 micros, 3 micros, 4 micros, 10 micros, 15 micros, 50 micros. Both funded accounts are now blown. And I was on the toilet for 25 minutes. My co-workers were wondering where I was. I had to leave the bathroom, get back to my shitty like 9 to 5 minimum wage job, thinking I literally just blew my one chance of having a better life because what? Because I was fiddling with it? Because I was gambling? Because I was bored? I didn't need to do any of that. And so ever since then, I had another payout after that, $600, but like all of that money that I made in January, I funneled back into Top Step. I was like pushing and pushing. I've blown so many evals since January. It's really embarrassing how much I've like gambled and pushed. I'm at a point now where I can just about survive off the money I get from my job. I don't work more than like 20 hours a week because I do the trading. And so like, I'm like, you know, if I pass an account now, I can't even afford the activation fee. It's massive TV in the background, I might liquidate. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm a guy that gambles. I'm a guy with some intense impulsions, and it's really gotten in the way of my trading. But I do have a very, very, very solid understanding of markets and price. I mean, if you want to even like learn from me, then join my Discord, link in the description below. And how long have I been trading? From about 2021, but I didn't start trading prop firms until a year and a half ago. Before then, it wasn't really a professional venture. It was just, it was an outlet while I was basically incapable of controlling my own finances in the relationship that I was in. But after, it became a very, very, especially A year ago, I had my life to myself and I really went hard into the study. What got me into trading? Exactly that. It was a mix of, the lack of control of my own finances, but also the fact that I had to drop out of uni. That really like pushed me to think like I've got to do something, because I've never been one to accept normalcy. Like I went to uni because I thought I had to. I knew I had to do something great. I thought I had to go to uni, and I went there and I was like, everyone else is here and I don't like what I'm studying, and like I don't think I'm a legend. I mean, I do, but I don't think I'm like the smartest person on the planet. I just think I've got this drive where I want something more, and some people don't have that. So currently the way I trade is I try to catch the lion's portion of the daily range or intraday bias. So what I do is ideally I wait for the 950 to 1010 macro or the 1050 to 1110 macro. Those are the most, they deliver the most. If there's high impact news at 8:30, then I will also look at the 8:50 to 9:10 macro. But I don't like being in trades before market open a lot of the time, because you usually get stopped out when the market opens, and then it continues to run in your favor. And then what I do is I have the 5 minute and the 1 minute, and I'll look at the 5 minute and I'll check for a significant change in the state of delivery on the 5 minute after a liquidity sweep at an area, say you're looking for a bullish day, but you need price to manipulate down into a daily buy-side imbalance first. Once it's manipulated into that daily buy-side imbalance, I look for other confluences like SMTs and equal lows being taken out, and then I'll look in the macro for the 5 minute change in the state. If that change in the state is significant, and then I look at the 1 minute and you get like a breakaway gap, an inversion fair value gap, and then a breaker, then I'm going to enter on that breaker, or I'm going to enter on the IO Fed of a breakaway gap, and I'm going to have a really like protected stop. And then I'm going to take off half the position when I get to 1-to-1. So if I risk 200, then I'll always make $100 profit. And then I'll go to break even at that point. And then I'll hold the trade for the rest of the day. I've been doing that for about 2 weeks now. I've back-tested it heavy 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's become like the exact way that I want to view the market. Waiting for the 5 minute order flow to be confirmed is really helpful, because then you're like, it's like there's a magnet pulling price up. You're not just like on the 1 minute thinking like it's gonna go up, it's gonna go down, it's gonna go up, it's gonna. You're not a high frequency trading algorithm. I don't work that fast. That puts me on tilt. Waiting for these 5 minute change in state deliveries really helps. I've even locked myself to only having like 4 trades a day. Locking myself to 4 trades a day goes into what's been going on in the past 2 weeks, which is I've been taking trades like a bit early. Like I did it today. I took a trade after 8:30, and price was like consolidating around the 8:30 open, and it wasn't giving any like real movement, which means you're gonna get bad PA for a while. And I should have gotten out, but I didn't. Got stopped, lost $50. And yeah, so what I've been doing recently is taking these trades like before like my best delivery macros at the 950 and the 1050. Been taking these lower quality trades, testing out the model, being excited and stuff, and then I get locked out for taking 2 or 4 trades, and it's like you're not allowed any more trades, which is just my risk management, my discipline. And then what I end up doing is going on TradingView paper trading. I can show you the statements. I'll go on paper trading and I'll use the same risk management, $200 risk per trade, and I'll catch the entire daily range, like the entire daily range. And I've been taking some amazing trades on demo, like impeccable. I think I made like $3,000 this week on demo, like past the eval. But it's just the growing pains of finally trying to go to 1 to 4 trades a day, because I used to take like 36 trades a day. Like even when I was profitable in January, there were still days where it was like you shouldn't be trading like this. Like they're not good trades. Like you're taking like 40 trades in a day just to make $200. Like that's not professional. The main thing with that is I just wish I kept that money instead of blowing it all back on Top Step, because it could really help me now. But here we are. So the way I'm trading now, I don't know how long it's going to take me to pass this evaluation, but I'm no longer in any rush. Like I'm down 500 on the account, and I'm just going to keep doing it the way I've been doing it, and then I'll catch a few winners, a few losers, and keep tweaking it, keep journaling. All my journals are in the Discord if you want to join. I also do homework every day. It's all free. I don't care. Join up, ask for, I just want a community. So join up and ask for calls if there's certain things you don't understand, like SMT divergence or how to read order flow. Like I'm good at all of that. You can really listen to me, and hey, we'll start live streaming soon. Just not at the moment. So yeah, my biggest struggle is for a while it was like imposter syndrome. I started posting on social media when I was profitable in January, and I was posting about like the money that I was making, and I was posting like, I can teach you if you want, and then I get home from Florida and all of a sudden I crash it all out, and then people, my friends were like, you're making loads of money, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm actually not. I actually gave it all away, and that led to this like rush, like you got to make it back now. You are a funded trader, you are a profitable trader, like get funded again and get a payout now. My brother kept asking me, when's your next payout? And it's like, I don't know. And I'd say this month, this week, this month, you know. And it wasn't until I went absolutely dirt broke because of those habits that I was like, right, it doesn't even matter, does it? Like I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm present, I exist, I've got everything I need, I can eat, and I've got the ability to put time into this skill. So what's really the issue here, you know? The only issue is what other people think of me. And so what I did is I came out on Instagram and I was like, I'm not profitable. I've blown all my accounts. I've put all my money back into it and I can barely afford to eat or pay rent. And I came out and I said that, and I was like, so here's the documentation of how I'm going to fix this issue. So now, at the very least, you know, I am presented online as someone that is learning to trade, not someone that can trade. And that helped a lot, because I really, really struggle with the imposter syndrome. I would recommend to people that aren't public or are sort of public, I'd recommend like you tone it down a bit and you don't ever have like an ego about it, don't show off. Like, you should only use social media to build a community and to stay humble. Staying humble is the most important thing. Even when you talk to your friends and family, like, you've got to stay humble. You've got to say, like, you know, even if you made like a $2,000 payout, like, yeah, I made a $2,000 payout, but I don't quite know like when the next one's coming, you know, I'm just going to take it as it comes. You got to talk like that, because people are going to think it's going to be like a normal job. Like, oh, how much did you make this month? Oh, I made $5,000. Oh, you make $5,000 a month? Wait, you make like 60K a year? No, no, I don't. No, I don't at all. And what's next for me is to continue to trade in this way, to hopefully just get like really, really good at catching the trades that I'm looking for, which is like most of the daily range, you know, or like even just like silver bullet, but like the majority of like an hourly candle and stuff. I've caught great trades like that before, just not on this account. To do that and to keep my risk management, which is why I'm not really bothered. Like, I've been on a 5-day losing streak, and usually like by the third or fourth day, I just blow the account. But I wake up, and when I go to trade, I'll set the risk parameters. Can't lose more than this much, can't trade more than this many times. And then within those parameters, I'm forced to try my best to catch the good trade. Yeah, even if I blew this account, just wait for a rebill, keep going. So what's next for me is literally just to keep working on one specific thing and just get really, really good at it. That's everything I had in my notes. And I just want to talk, like, you know, the reason why I've struggled so much, and I'd say I'm coming up to like 2 years into this now. It does take people like 2 to 3 years, but some people like 10 months, you know, they really lock in and they get it done. And it's like, the reason that I struggle so much for me is mental health. And this is what I wanted to talk about today specifically, because I don't see enough of it. But trading is difficult, man. Trading is really, really, really difficult. And, you know, like, they always say it's you versus you. It's not you versus the market. You know, you got to master yourself, and it's all well and good. It's all about that. But like, there are people that, you know, like, they take onto this stuff really well, and they how do you put it? Like, they catch it in like 10 months, you know, and they learn how to do it. And then there are people that really struggle with being impulsive, and it's like, I feel like it depends on your understanding of money and your background and where you come from. Me, my entire childhood was rough. It was not good, and I didn't have a brain at the time to understand that like the people around me weren't loving me how they should, or the way I was raised wasn't an unconditional loving environment, and it wasn't very nice to me. I'm not trying to get deep. I'm trying to talk about psychology here. I couldn't understand that, but what I could understand is what we were told, and what we were told is, you know, we didn't have a lot of money. Our biggest issue is money. Money, 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 money. Everything was about money. I was dirt broke, you know, and that was my main issue, and it's why people in school didn't treat me so well. I remember some friends came to my house once, and I must have been about 9 or 10, and they look in all of my cupboards in my kitchen, and they start laughing at me, because I've got like the, we call it Asda Smart Price. It's like, you know, the cheapest option. Every product we had was that, and I didn't care. I didn't even see an issue with it, you know, but I started getting laughed at and stuff. So yeah, like, when I was younger, money was just like the biggest issue. So I think what's happened to me as I've aged is I've decided, in order to like fix what's wrong with me like deeply inside or whatever, I have to fix money, and in fixing money and becoming financially free, I can fix that issue for everyone else. I understand it deeper. Like, I went through trauma, I wasn't loved properly, I was manipulated, all of this, like, you know. I'm just coming out and saying it because I think it's good, like, in the trading space, to just be like, you know, people don't talk about their backgrounds, and I don't know who's struggled in what way, and like, so you can hear about my struggles, you know. Like, I was raised badly, and like, I blamed it on money, and I tried to use like success as a way of fixing what's deeply wrong inside. I've come to learn that you can't do it that way around, and this is if I'm offering advice to anyone in similar sort of positions, but like, you literally have to see trading as a secondary thing, and see being happy, alive, and healthy, and having a good relationship with yourself as the primary thing. And what that means is to slow trading down as much as possible. That's what I've done. Slowed it down as much as possible. Only taking a few trades a day, because, you know, it's not about making the money to me. It's a side thing I do. It's something I do at a specific time of day. Either it works or it doesn't, and then I catch information about what went good, what went bad, add it to the next execution, and keep growing on it from there. Always making a journal and stuff. But when I'm focused on the goal, which is reach financial stability, then I'm just like pressing buttons and blowing my account, because what I'm doing is I'm in a survival state where I'm trying to reach that goal. So I'm sat there, get locked in, I'm looking at the charts, I'm looking only at the 1 minute, I'm taking 6 trades every 3 minutes, if that, and I'm trying to reach financial stability. So I'm trying to get a big winning day, or any amount of winning in this day, so that I can feel like I'm one step closer towards my goal, which means I've survived the thing I'm running away from. If you were raised in an unhealthy environment, your brain, I learned this in therapy, if you're raised in an unhealthy environment, your brain is constantly in a survival state. Right now, I'm in this room I pay rent for, and it's peaceful, and there's no danger, there's no one that's going to control and manipulate me, there's nothing to survive from. But it's very easy for the adult mind, as a subconscious thing, to try to survive what it was used to. And this stuff comes up in like relationships with people as well. And trading is a relationship. My relationship with the charts, my relationship with money, and my relationship with myself. And so, you know, all of those maladaptive schemas, all of those maladaptive things, those negative ways of reacting in order to survive a very, very negative environment, are going to come with you and present themselves in your trading. So the further away you can take yourself from that like idealistic goal that you have, which is reach financial stability, the further away you can take yourself from that when you're actually placing trades and looking at the market, the better you're going to be. I'm not saying the better trades you're going to take. That literally comes from actually using your mind and experience, and just like back testing and taking notes and journaling, and quite literally just building up that experience. But you'll have a better experience actually in trading. Like, why on earth would you sit there and put yourself through stress? Why on earth would you be afraid to trade? Like, why are you even trying to do this as a career if you're going to intentionally make it stressful? So that's what I've learned recently. That's what's next for me, is to just keep being slow, keep staying happy in myself, and notice when I'm trying to survive, notice when I'm trying to reach a goal, notice when I'm trying to control the charts, you know. And limiting myself to 2 or 4 trades a day really helps. Limiting myself to 5-minute change in the states, and limiting myself to the macro times, perfect. Yeah, that's about it really. Like, other than that, that's who I am, that's where I am, and yeah, I mean, I just wanted to mainly talk about the mental health thing, you know. I really don't feel like there's enough people in the trading space discussing it, but at the end of the day, I honestly believe a lot of people that get into trading have like a specific background or like some questionable mental health, because why on earth are you trying to risk your time and your money for freedom in the future? Like, why you're doing the one thing that everyone tells you not to do? You're trying to trade, bro? Like, are you crazy? Probably. And so if I reached out to anyone, I'd like to hear it in the comments, you know, if anyone also had a similar, or has had similar experiences with trading or their past. Like, it's important to me to know. I want to connect with people like you, and that was Trench Talk episode 1, so thank you very much.